we can get our documentary screening started. Before then, Babajay Dr. Onaje Muid will have some words for us to introduce Dope is Death, and then we'll take off. Feel free to introduce yourselves, share greetings, and even share where you're coming from. And in some cases, maybe where you're headed to. No worries, Chandra. Thank you for letting us know. Good evening. All right, so as folks trickle in, we'll gradually get started. Happy to hear the affirmations about this series, the Soul Sovereignty series. This has been our first ever Soul Sovereignty series. It is a virtual Black August fundraiser hosted by Community Healing Network. And for some folks who have been present throughout the series, y'all might have heard this introduction a few times now. This session is being recorded though for those who are not able to join us, for our network and all the lives we touch beyond this space and time. And so we want to give a proper introduction to the space for those who may tune in at a later time. Soul Sovereignty series is being introduced and being hosted by the Community Healing Network. My name is Jabari Lane. I'm the Development Associate at Community Healing Network. I'm currently based in Detroit, but my hometown is New Haven, Connecticut. And it's a pleasure to be here with you all. Community Healing Network is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to mobilize Black people across global Africa to heal from the trauma caused by centuries of anti-Black racism, to free ourselves of toxic stereotypes, and to reclaim our dignity and humanity as people of African ancestry. Our intention is to elevate our incarcerated kin and their emotional healing as we explore global Africa's need for emotional emancipation as a whole. Our goal was to raise $5,000 for the third and fourth round of emotional emancipation circles at Pendleton Correctional Facility in Pendleton, Indiana. Emotional emancipation circles are self-help support groups designed to help heal and end the trauma caused by anti-Black racism, the centuries-old lie of white superiority and Black inferiority. As the search for more sustainable revenue continues, we'd like to thank everyone here and all of our supporters as a whole for their presence, energy, and contributions. We've eclipsed 27% of our fundraising goal. I haven't done the math, but we have received more contributions since then, since the most recent calculation. So this is all great news. It's wonderful to be in this space and this energy and to have such a phenomenal way to end and conclude the series and conclude Black August. So I'm gonna pass it to Babajay Dr. Onaje Muid to introduce Dope is Death. Take it away.
Thank you so much, young man. It's a pleasure and honor to be here with you and with the family. I see some familiar faces, James Alexander, Valerie Hunt, Sister Ote, Chandra, others as well. It's really a wonderful time. And, you know, rather than concluding, it's really moving forward. In the old ways of Kemet, they say that a person is not dead as long as you keep repeating that person's name. and keeps the person in your mind and in your heart. And that's what we're doing tonight. We are commemorating, we are giving honor and reverence to ancestor, Dr. Mutulu. And the man was an incredible human being. Certainly when we think of great leaders like Malcolm X, like Marcus Garvey, for example, Patrice Lumumba, we always looking around us to say, okay, who's going to take their place? In fact, Dr. Mutulu Shakur did take their place. And if you see the magnitude of the man and his contribution in that light, only thing we can do is salute him for that, but also lament the fact that we was deprived of 36 years, right? If you had another 4 years on top of that, 40 years, we were deprived of his direct participation in the loving and freeing of our people. We were deprived of that while he was away. Now, don't, as they said, young people said, don't get it twisted. While he was away, he was still talking to people. I don't know how many years they had him in solitary confinement. I'm sure there was many. But we have to begin to honor our leaders and fully appreciate the weight of this domestic colonialism that we are still experiencing. And in so doing, remember that this is a man who loved his mother. And some of you will see in the film that as a result, his mother was blind, having to go to the welfare center, having to go here and having to go there. He experienced the weight of oppression for a disabled person personally. And that was the motivation. So he says in the film, you'll hear him say that, I didn't learn this from any books or, a story. He said it's my lived experience. And because of his lived experience, in COBRA, that's the National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations, in particular, the Health Commission, what we've done is saying that, one, we want to honor this man, not so much remember as he's gone because he's still here, he's an ancestor. We want to honor him and we want to continue his work. It's not enough to speak a person's name and say that was a good person. If the person was good and respected and valued, then the question becomes, what was his life mission? What work is undone that needs to be continued? So in that vein, we have created the Mutulu Millions for Mutulu campaign. And what that means is that last year on his birthday, while he was still here on the planet, we were able to establish August 8th as the Dr. Mutulu Shakur Community Health Day, August 8th. And it's an intriguing story of how that came into being, but I won't bore people now with it now, but you'd want to know how that happened. And this Millions for Mutulu campaign is saying last year when we read the campaign in New York City at a harm reduction site, prior to the wording of harm reduction, Dr. Mutulu Shakur was way ahead of the game in the 70s when he brought acupuncture to the Bronx, to the South Bronx, to alleviate opioid addiction. It was not only a stand against the opioid plague at the time, but also a stand against methadone. He refused to accept that we have to take one drug to replace another drug and find and say that that's the solution. He went a step further and says, no, we don't need drugs at all. We can use acupuncture to do this. But also it was a statement for our health self-determination, that every people has the right to be free, to be healthy, and to be self-determining. It was a stand saying that we must claim and participate in a very practical way, our health self-determination. Mutulu went on to join many organizations. The Republic of New Africa, he's known for the Black Liberation Army, different organizations he joined, and every place he went, he just contributed himself in so many ways. And I tell you, I feel there's a particular link between him and I. And looking in the year 1986. Many things you would see that that was the year that he was captured and imprisoned. You also see in 1986, that was the year that I, in fact, entered the field of substance abuse. He went out, I went in. I'm just looking at what happened. I'm not making any particular claims about me in this connection. I'm just looking at this as something how this happened at the same time. And so I worked at a place called Reality House. Well, before that, I worked at a place called Phase Piggyback in New York City as a drug, first as a drug counselor, then as a drug prevention counselor, then a clinical director for a drug prevention program, and so many other things. For 14 years, I worked at Phase Piggyback, and then later on, I worked for 11 years at Reality House. While he was in prison, I wrote a letter to Mutulu. I said, "Brother Mutulu, did you ever work with or know about Reality House, a drug facility in Harlem? How about Phase Piggyback, also in Harlem? I worked at Phase Piggyback from 1986 to 2000, then Phoenix House for a minute, and thereafter Reality House from 2004 to 2015. Having worked with both agencies under two conscious Black men, Abu Karim Shabazz and Leonard Hebert, it put me in a special place, a place that most Black men can't even dream about. I would like to think you received my last letter, and if you had a chance to write back, I'm hoping that it's in the universe on its way to me. But more seriously, I do hope to visit you in April. I pray that we can work that out. This weekend, I'm headed to Baltimore to circle up with some brothers as we support each other in the realities of life, this life here in the U.S. Hope to get that letter from you shortly, your brother Onaje Muid. Never got this. So not only am I'm saying we're saying his name to keep him alive, I'm saying taking these words and I'm giving it to you so you can hear it, and hopefully it will create some type of meaning and relevance for you, and to also encourage you to join the millions for Mutulu campaign. So we say, one, sign the declaration, and I'll put the web address in the chat. Sign the declaration that you say this man needs to have a day dedicated to him. Who says? We say Kuji Jakali is self-determination, to name ourselves, define ourselves, and speak for ourselves instead of being defined for and spoken by others. We're saying let's take our will of self-determination and declare that day, number one. Number two, we say we want you to what? We want you to see this film and share it with your family and your organizations, your mosque, your church, what community centers, any place there are people that you gather with and you'd want them to have information. We're asking you to join the campaign to bring that information to them. And third, we also are saying, let's dedicate ourselves to get 10 other people in this next year. Because this year we're saying, last year was 1, this year is 100. Times 10 will be 1,000 next year. Times 10 will be 10,000, so forth and so on. And 2027 will reach 1 million. And reaching 1 million, yes, it's about the declaration, but it's also about talking about our health, creating social health circles. We talk about everything else, but when do we gather people to talk about our health? We talk about sports, we talk about politics, but when do we come together and talk about our health? It has to be just as important as anything else. In fact, maybe the most important thing, because if you don't have your health, what do you really have? And we know that our women are dying at exorbitant numbers. So much so they're talking about creating, the fourth trimester. And every time I say it, it just rubs my nerves. So many of our Black women are dying. So if you choose to join this campaign, we be not only remembering this man, but also honoring him by taking his work forward, because he wanted to see us whole. He wanted to see us happy. He wanted us to see us enjoying each other. And the only way we can do that is to first take care of this body, this mind that we have, that we walk around with every day. So I'm so happy that you have joined us in this showing of the film Dope is Deaf, and that you will continue to share it with others. Any last thing I want to say before I start is that you matter. You are important. That means we need you to take care of your health, and we want to attract those who would learn the science of the five. I call it the Mutulu 5 points, and then start to practice it. And you don't have to use the needles. You can just use seeds to go in the same point. So we need to study health again. And this is a way that brings a very practical, a very easy science forward. So we need a healer in every home, and we need a healing well in every home. The constant replenishment of knowledge and vitality and energy and inspiration. So with that, sit tight because you're going to see something quite remarkable with this film. Welcome. There is no film, Jabari. I hear the sound, but I don't see any film.
I thought for a moment that it just might have introduced us in that way. Let me go ahead and reset this. Oh, there it goes. Okay. My apologies. Okay, well, I just saw it. If y'all could just give me one more second. I'm wondering if there are issues, maybe because we're recording. Not sure.
Since we have a moment, I want to give acknowledgement to Prophet in Yanwu, a revolutionary sister who is a nurse and organizer, a member of the commission and many other organizations, also a facilitator of the emancipation emotional circles. And she has done tremendous work over the last number of years. I've known her traveling, in fact, to New York to study and be a certified practitioner, a true example of the type of follow up that we're asking all of us to do.
But thank y'all for y'all's patience. Baba, what I'm experiencing is when I share my screen, what happens is that the screen goes black. But when I don't share my screen, then I can see the picture clearly. So let me just go ahead and see if there's another way for us to do this.
Barry, did you check that little box before when you logged it?
The box about sharing the sound.
Yeah, and sharing the video.
Yes, let me revisit that. Optimize for video clip, maybe.
Jabari, while you're doing that, how long is the film?
It's an hour and 20 minutes.
Okay.
Although there will be a moment where there will be the documentary screening, and then it'll transition into an interview, and we'll pause there. We'll have a break there, and then we'll proceed based on the discretion of the audience. So, and Jerry, I have shared my sound, and I also have clicked the button for optimizing the video clip. Do you have any other recommendations?
No, nothing. It's not on YouTube, is it? Because sometimes I think Zoom restricts some things.
Yes, it's on Apple TV, so it's not on YouTube. It's on Apple TV, which might be what we're experiencing right now. And I think we can get around. So I'm just going to pause this here.
So while Jabbar is working out the technical details, I just want to also mention, as all of you know, this is Black August, the month where we intentionally recognize the resistance that our people have shown uh, ever since the first time we were captured and transported um, across the Atlantic and then enslaved, all the torture. All of these are crimes against humanity. All of these are international crimes. So the severity of our situation actually reached the highest level of man's inhumanity to man. And as we begin to fully appreciate that, would also embolden us to do the things that we have to do in the various places that we find ourselves to assert our right as self-determination, as Onaje Muid Shabazz Malcolm X says, we demand our rights, to be as any other man, to happen here on earth by any means necessary. So we continue in that tradition. So Black August is remembering George Jackson, his brother Jonathan Jackson, and all the others. It was just recently that McGee was released after, I don't know, 70 years? And it's a victory. The fact that Mutulu was released, um, notwithstanding, because of the bone cancer that he was experiencing, it was good to know that he had a chance to see his family, his grands and his children on the outside. Many of our warriors didn't have a chance to do that. One of them is Fundy Lake, brother out of Birmingham, Alabama, who I was friends with. So, so it's good that he had a chance to do that. And we have to bring all our political prisoners home. This is the work. So it's about emotional emancipation, but it's about the physical emancipation of our people from all these different places of confinement and containment. So we are remembering, and we're continuing that work. in terms of the prison movement, which is so very important for us. And I guess if you calculated all the numbers of people that have been imprisoned, the time, the expense to the partners that they had to put out in terms of the phone calls, the travel, everything else, a tremendous burden that our people are have and continue to pay out. And all this ties to reparations. I mentioned earlier, for those of you who might have come on late, that it's the NCOBRA, the National Coalition of Blacks Reparations Health Commission, that has started the campaign Millions for Mutulu. And with that campaign, they're saying that we have to demand what is ours, reparations. So a healthy mind will then, of course, assert its dignity, affirm its dignity, and a healthy body would also be involved in the movement for that. So this is an invitation for all of you to, in fact, join NCOBRA in this demand. The brother out of Philadelphia has saying it is a command. I have to get with him to see how he's differentiating demand versus command. But the thing is, we need you to be involved in this campaign. We're still having difficulties, but I think we hear the sound. So, Jabari, maybe the alternative is to put the link. Screen is still black.
If you pull up I'm real low tech. So on the low tech side, if you pull up one PowerPoint slide and embed it in there, it should play.
Put your hand on your heart. Think about your family members who've been addicted to drugs, alcohol. Some have passed away. Some are still using. Some are in prison still today. As you are connecting your heart to their hearts, and just push out the love. Push out the love. Push out the love. As we all are pushing out the love, take your hands and put it in front of your face. And know that all the love we just sent out has gone to the ends of the universe and is bouncing back. It's bouncing back to us. And as it's bouncing back to us, take your hands and allow it to come in. You're just welcoming that love back into yourself. And as you are taking it into yourself, it's creating a loop. It's going back out to the universe. It's coming back again multifold. Multifold. As you are circling your hands back to yourself, all this love is coming back and it's going out and it's coming back multifold. Take your hands and put it back on your heart again, and know that the love that you've created has been magnified in the universe, and it has come back multifold to you to strengthen your heart, to strengthen your love, to strengthen your compassion. Now take your hands and just put it over your body. Just put it over your head, your face, your neck, chest, your torso, midsection, your legs, down to your feet, Just rub it in. Rub it in. Bringing your hands in front of you. Giving praise to the Creator for these hands, for the work they've done and the work they're about to do. A prayerful pose. Thinking of all the people who were in the film, all the people who were not in the film that made all those phenomenal moments possible. Thinking of the people who made the film, recorded the film, gathered the footage, bringing it all together so that we can witness it. Sending love to their families, to them, to their families. And that work that they did has inspired us. And now take your hands and push it out to the universe. Push the work out to the universe. Push it out. Push it out. Push it out. In the same way that we were able to generate love that went out to the ends of the universe and has come back, as we pushing out this work, is being multiplied and is coming back to us to help us in our work that we are on, that we're doing in our own particular way, our own particular path. And it's circling out to the universe and coming back multifold. And all those who you work with, and pushing out that work, that love and work to them so they can become more committed, more competent, more effective in their work. And this work is pushing our people forward to achieve the ends of Black health, self-determination, social self-determination, economic, financial self-determination, political self-determination, and liberation. Bringing your hands back to your heart in this moment, in this time, in this space, and allowing gratitude to fill your being. Thank you. So I'd like to open the mic and have you share what you experienced, or at least a piece of it. And the mic is now open. You can now take yourself off from mute and share with the family.
I'd just like to say that that was a powerful film. And it certainly, to me, I really got the message about how the spirit for liberation is just so strong. It keeps going on no matter, what opposition we face. I mean, the fact that they took the time to keep struggling and keep coming back is really very inspiring. I put in the chat that I'm from the Bronx. Actually, I lived in the Bronx till 1968. I went to college. And so I saw how drugs really destroyed neighborhoods. People would come together and feel safe. And then, once the drugs hit, it was very, very different, very dangerous. So again, I'm glad they put that film together to show it.
Thank you, Elder James Alexander, for being here and sharing that. Someone else, what were your impressions? How are you feeling right now?
For me, it was just witnessing the determination under so much oppression, and how they were able to help people even in that situation. And I'm always reminded that what we have done, we can do. And so my mind was quickly, I was around for the end of the, I guess, heroin addiction, but the beginning of the crack addiction for sure. My coming of age. And now we see where fentanyl has been introduced in K-12 in the DC area. And I'm just wondering, and I'm thinking, how do we use these methods to help in the here and now?
There you
So
go.
that's where mine kind of went. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're in a good place because you're right there. Dr. Kakaye Patterson is in fact teaching acupuncture and teaching these 5 points right there in DC.
Oh, okay.
So you're in a good place to study with him, to practice. So thank you for bringing that and making it very clear what can we do now, and that's the whole purpose of this campaign, for us to take that on. Excellent. So Dr. Kakaye Patterson's right there in DC. He's our chief, in fact, trainer for this project, Millions for Mutulu. Anyone else like to share their?
Babajay, yes, my name is Alicia Warren, and I'm sitting here now feeling really deep pain in my heart when I look at all the things that have happened and that they are still happening to us over and over and over. It seems no matter what programs we come up with, what solutions we come up with, some energy finds a way to undermine it and go around it and keep it destroyed. So going through my mind was the question, when, how do we put a stop to this? How do we not have to be reactive so much? And how is it that everything we start is touched by some energy that wants to destroy it? What is the solution? And I keep proposing that we really need to know individually who we are so that we have a barrier to protect us against these forces that keep coming at us, this energy that keeps trying to consume us. If we could teach our young peoples something that will help them to stand strong no matter what, then we have a better chance of eliminating the constant battery, the constant barrage that is at us, no matter where it is, if it's in Congress, and it is in Congress, or wherever it is. What do we have to hold us steadfast to prevent our getting sucked up into whatever it is that's thrown out there at us? I'm looking at the things we've done through the years, through the generations. What is it that we can do different? Or are we just basically stuck in a perpetual struggle?
I feel your pain. I don't have an answer. My response is, I think our perspective is the first thing that we want to attend to and think about. The perspective I like to offer you is, how long have African people been on this earth? It's been different calculations. I've seen millions in some places. I've seen thousands of years in other places. We do know it's been a long time. We do know that.
I've seen 260,000 years.
Okay, but and if you look at that timeline, and you look at the small, almost micro dot that we're existing in now, opposed to the timeline in terms of its longevity, we begin to, I think, put it in perspective. Amos Wilson teaches us we're not a copy of white people with black skin. All of the knowledge that we have experienced for all those many years we've been here is encoded in our DNA. We're living all of that right now. So the answer is within ourselves. And our brothers and sisters from Cambridge, they said the first thing to do is know thyself. Know the self of who we are. And as we return to our own knowledge about who we are, reaffirm our identity, then we'll be in a position to therefore look at our purpose. And once we have our purpose in sight, then we can have direction. So So the answer is with us. It's not about them.
Yes.
It's really about us. And I tell you, I think you would agree with this. What are the things that we can do right now with each other? That's the immediate thing, the practical thing. That's why we believe in the Cobra Health Commission, that why this campaign is so important and so vital and so practical, because it's something that we can do. Once we start attending to our physical health, it'll help us to attend to our mental health. We tend to our mental health, then it will help us to attend to our social health. As we start to do that, it's going to connect to our community health. And with that, we'll be able to create village health. That's the only answer that we can have for ourselves. And the other perspective I would ask you to think of, and you know this already, war is hell. In war, there are casualties. And war has been declared and placed upon us. Not a war that we have initiated, but a war that has been actually forced upon us. Then we have to respond to this war. So if we are not thinking in the situation in which we're living, which is war, we will always be victims of some type of, pie in the sky, things are going to get better. No, things are not going to get better just like that. Things will get better because we get better.
Mm-mm.
That's why health is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And the other part,
And
the third perspective I'd ask you to entertain is that, my dear sister, we are still here. They've done everything that is humanly possible, other than just drop the bomb on us the way they did in Japan. We're still here, and we're still having this conversation, and we are still moving forward. Long as that, and it's always been this thriving for survival and perseverance and even development. And that's the thing that has kept us going. So we're still here. As long as we're still here, and as long as we keep going. When I was in Atlanta for Dr. Mutulu's memorial, we had started to repeat this affirmation: straight ahead, like Mutulu said. That's the war cry. Straight ahead, like Mutulu said. So straight ahead with our ambition, straight ahead with um, our thoughts and visions of tomorrow and a better life. Straight ahead with the fullness of us embracing what is called Afro-futuristic or futurism, right? Straight ahead with that. And as long as we do that, we'll get, as Dr. King told us, we'll get to the promised land, which is really be with each other. But thank you for that. And anything else you wanted to say about that, Sister Alicia?
Yes, I tone it down to 2 words, and people don't seem to be understanding what I mean by these 2 words. Those 2 words are personal development. Personal development. And if we know what is in us, what's inside us, and we can understand our connection to the God who created us, and then we develop personally all those things that you mentioned, the economic, the social, the health, the mental, the spiritual development. So I bring it down to those 2 words. And if we could we teach math, we teach science, we teach all these things in school, but we do not teach what it means or how it means to live as a full human being. We don't teach those kinds of things that are absolutely necessary. And someone will come back at me and say, well, that begins in the home. Of course it does, but if the home has not gone through that kind of development, how can the home give it out and impart it to its children? Children go to school every day, but basically, and so there's got to be some place where we can teach them what's in them, where they came from. And I'll do it again. I'll say I bring it down to 2 words: personal development, with power behind it. Thank you so much for entertaining me and hearing me. Yes, my heart is hurting. And I know there's something different that we've got to do unless we continue on with the same things that we're doing and keep getting the same thing that we keep getting. And so I bid you good night, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart and all my brothers and sisters in this session with you. I'm crying tears down the back of my head, but I can wipe them off gently. Thank you so much. And this is with deep love that I say good night. Good night. Good night, brothers and sisters. And let's
Thank you.
keep going. Let's keep growing.
Straight ahead, like Mutulu said. So, my family, it is 8:44. And, I would maybe put forth the idea that we be another 15 minutes, or it doesn't have to be, but at least that we'll know if that's not too much of a burden on everyone or anyone to give us some time and space to debrief and share what's in our minds, what's in our hearts. Sister Prophet Nyanawu, I see your hand is up, certainly, if you unmute yourself.
Yes, I was trying to catch Sister Alicia Warren. Her name sounds so familiar to me. I put a question in the chat to her to find out where she's located. We've talked about that in these sessions this week. It's come up over and over again. And so I just wanted to see if she'd be willing to share her contact or something to have a side conversation, because I agree my ministry is reconciliation ministry without walls, but it's the first tenet of it is reconciling self with the small self to self with the large self. So reconciling self to self. And so I definitely agree, but we've talked about that this week. So just wondering, didn't know where you were located, how to maybe reach out to you for a conversation. If has she already dropped off? Probably dropped off.
It's possible that
She dropped off. I don't see her name. Okay.
yeah, it's possible that we can get the email and send her something to actually be in touch with her.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you for
Yeah,
all you're
thank you
doing
so
around
much.
here.
Thank you. And Sister Therese?
Yes, Therese.
Yes, blessings.
I just wanted to say thank you for that film and the presentation. I grew up through all of that. I'll be 70 years old in November. And so I grew up through all of that and have seen what has happened since and before and what's happening now. I'm now a spiritual director as well as an emotional emancipation circle facilitator. And where people come to me and ask me, especially my own people, my community come and ask me, I try to use my time to do exactly what you're saying, to help us to heal ourselves and to see ourselves as real and whole, despite all of the negative things that come to try to make us think otherwise. And that film helped me to see that that's what's been going on for generation after generation. And I just thank you so much for showing that film and giving me that opening to see, that what we really need to do is to find ourselves and heal ourselves and be there for others of us to find and heal ourselves to keep going.
That and the thanks should go to Community Healing Network for launching this campaign and putting these different individuals, on point and schedule. They're the ones that have been generous to make this space possible for us to get together. So I'm appreciative to them and of them for doing that, and
Yes.
love the work that they're doing.
Yes, absolutely.
Sister Valerie, now you're not going to come here and not give us some of that wisdom that you always have for us, because you are such a giving person, and would love you to say something to us.
I deeply appreciate the love being sent my way and to the way of my ancestors. May your day be well and may your night be well and all the moments in between. May your day and night be well, because no day is promised and life is unpredictable. I've been saying it so many times to so many of my students who are on and off and in and out of streets and in programs and out of programs. And this this document, this is the third time I've seen it. And each time I see it, I learn something different. And I say that that prayer and blessing and encouragement every time I'm in a gathering, because when we see in this document that no day was promised for anyone there, yet they all came together, and no matter what your talk is, your walk is very clear, and their walk was very clear. They were making each other's day well. They were making each other's night well, and all the moments in between, because no day was promised, and life was unpredictable, and yet they still walked, and that walk was clear, and their talk was clear and in alignment with each other. And that's what always makes me feel so it's hard to find white people. Like I might have to use some Fambe, another language, because this white people language doesn't allow for me to speak to the profundity of what we just experienced. I believe everyone moved as if they had guns and roses in their hands, and guns and roses in their heart, because they knew that's what was going on. And we have to continue to move like we have guns and roses in our hands, that there are lotuses at our feet, but we also have to have bullets at our bedside. Now, whether those bullets are made out of metal or our voices or how we teach our children. This is the world that we're living in. And beloved Babajay, thank you for saying, make no mistake, trust and believe we are in a war. Yet that war is complex. And the complexity of that war means that we're going to be able, that no matter where we are, we can be subtle or not so subtle in the way in which we wage the war ourselves. So I deeply appreciate being able to share what this third viewing of the documentary has brought. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. If there aren't any other comments to be shared, I will return it over to our dear beloved brother Jabari.
I just put a message for Dr. Valerie in the chat because I want more information about the Rifle Association.
Yes. We will do this in such a way that it's not recorded unless y'all hang on just a moment. I
can send you my email.
And I would like to send it to Brother Jabari too, okay? Because he the truth. Brother Jabari is the truth. You know how to do things and how to get things to everybody. Yes, I will do both. I will speak to you, beloved prophet, and then I will get with Brother Jabari. He can figure out how we can disseminate stuff. Is that all right with you, Brother Jabari?
It sounds like a plan.
Okay. Thank you.
I just wanted to share that
Looks like you froze.
Yes, he's internet is probably having some connection challenges at this point. He might go out and come back in, if that's going to help him do that.
Help us with another call to action, beloved Babajay. Give us another call to action, okay, about what you want us to do. Just remind us again what you want us to do. 10 times 10, 100 times 10, all the things you said at the beginning. Can you tell us again?
Yes, let me, I put in the chat earlier an email. Okay, now I'm back to the film, and I'm trying to get back onto you. So I was trying to find that the email with the campaign is called Millions for Mutulu. And the idea is, not the idea, but the strategy is to each one teach one. And last year we had created this declaration declaring August 8th, Dr. Mutulu Shakur's birthday. Maybe I didn't say that before. Declaring that the Dr. Mutulu Shakur Community Health Day, to be celebrated every August 8th from now into eternity. And this year we want to multiply that times 100, to have 100 signatories on the website that I just put in the chat. I'm not sure where the numbers are right now. When I spoke to Siwipe, I think he said it was at 38 or 40 or 37. Much too low, much too low. So all of you are encouraged to sign it, and then also get other people to sign it. We had hoped to get 100 by the end of the month, but life goes on. It isn't as it's over, because this is the campaign that, in a sense, is just starting. Next year, we want to multiply that, and we can add names during the year. So at the next year, August 2024, we'll have 1,000. And then every year thereafter, multiplying it times 10. 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million. And it's really a very simple, pragmatic way to teach our people about this great ancestor, the work that he's done, and to invite us to enroll us in that work. And again, you don't have to use the needles. When you're trained, you can just use seeds in the 5 points. And just think about it. If we have 1 million Black people touching each other's ears and having a conversation about our health, I believe that it can change the whole health profile of our community. Just doing that. But from that, other things are going to arise and open up, because once we have our physical health, we'll think about life a little differently. We'll think about each other a little differently. Won't get in as many arguments or fights. And certainly, one of the biggest problems we're facing is youth. And it's not Black on Black crime. It's a question of proximity, right? Fearing for your life because the environment is dangerous. So young people are carrying guns, not to shoot someone, but just to protect themselves so they won't get shot. So we have so many layers of oppression that keeps us stressed, angry, enraged. Now we have to turn that rage, as Marcus Garvey has taught us, into social action, right? So the energy, and when I was going through my understanding of my rage, what was discovered is that rage is a natural response to egregious human rights violations. It's a natural response to the grotesque realities in which we're living in. So it's not wrong to have rage or anger. It's how we use it as a generator to obliterate the circumstances that we find ourselves. That's called liberation. So the campaign is called Millions for Mutulu, with the slogan, straight ahead like Mutulu said. And as we do that, we'll see changes. He already told us about the changes that he witnessed, right? And all the different times that he actually performed that, and the political education. In the film, they talked about the political education being such a essential part of the work. And that's giving people first a chance just to talk about the misery of their lives, the things that they're experiencing. And in group, we find solace and we find comfort. We found brotherhood and sisterhood and familyhood. And in that space, which I'm calling a calabash, right? Another word for gourd. In that calabash, we find support, not containment, but support. And that support will be the things that push us forward. Prophet, and Yanu, I see your hand up.
Thank you. I was going to try to was typing pretty slow in the chat. I was just going to I'll put it out there, the possibility of doing maybe on one of the Tuesdays, the 5-point acupressure without the needles or seeds, just to demonstrate, just to show what the points are and what people could do. The part in the documentary where he said before they had needles or anything, they put their fingers and ears that we could do. So that's just an idea.
Excellent. Excellent. And with that note, it is 8:59, and I had said that 9 o'clock would certainly give us a little time to say whatever needs to be said. And I'm complete, and I turn it back over to Brother Jabari, who was able to get his internet up again. Yes, Jabari, it's back to you.
I appreciate that.
There's one sister, Nataka, has her hand up.
I was just going to add to what you said about us being here. And I would just like to add to that, not only are we here, but we're here in community, and that just like they were in the film in community, we have still maintained that. And everybody in this community is equipped, well equipped to, to go forward in whatever sphere and number of influence that we have. And it's just, I think, the commitment to do that, and the community supporting each other. But we're here with power and presence, and that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you for saying that, because you reminded me to say the other part, that yes, we are each other's medicine, but we are each other's liberation medicine.
There you go.
We are each other's liberation medicine. Can everybody say that together? We are
We are each other's liberation
liberation
medicine.
Liberation medicine.
Thank you. Roxanne, I see you over there percolating.
Well, I just wanted to share that I'm in deep gratitude for this space as well. I was reflecting on how a lot of the folks who were in the documentary were around my age. They looked and appeared to be around my age. And so it was really inspiring to see how organized they were and how committed they were. And I was really emotional by the end of it, because I have people in my family who have experienced addiction. The closest person to me is my father. And I also think about my mother, who's Puerto Rican. And, some of the generational healing that I've done in my life has been to heal the dispossession and this displacement of my peoples from the land that they're from. So, when we talk about knowing thyself, what's coming up for me is how crucial it is to see myself in relation to my ancestry, my lineage, and also in relation to the earth and to the elements that be. So I think that's something that, in terms of knowing thyself, it goes part and parcel with Ubuntu. And that's a multidimensional experience. And I just want to champion that and center that in this space. Really grateful to be able to have gone through those emotional transitions and arrive back at this space alongside y'all. So thank y'all so much.
May I just say something to you, Jabari?
Yes, ma'am.
It's always been the young people. Even in the civil rights movement, it was the young people who came to the forefront that actually got people to pay attention. It's always been the Black Panthers and all of them. They were young when they did all of the things that they've done. And, it continues. And as I tell people all the time, it's not a relay race or a marathon. I mean, it's not a marathon or a sprint. It's a relay race. And so at some point, we all have to pass the baton to the next person. None of us have all the answers or can do everything. And it's always been the young people who pushed us forward.
I appreciate that wisdom. And thank you so much, Babajay, for your facilitation and your presentation, for bringing us back to center. Much gratitude.
Ashe, Ashe, Asheo, Aho.
Ashe.
I can't wait to see what's going or to witness what y'all gonna do next. Community Healing Network team with the next soul sovereignty, magnitude, galactic, intergalactic. I don't know. My head's popping off. And thank you, brother Baba Onaje, for talking about Afrofuturism, because that's the only presence is Afrofuturism. There's nothing without Afrofuturism. We created everything.
Ashe. And with that, please look forward to the recordings, contact information, all the goods from this experience in a follow-up email, maybe even series of emails next week. They'll be sent out along with a survey, really just providing y'all with the opportunity to share even more about your experience, and also a space for y'all to share more about what y'all look forward to, because we couldn't have done this without you all. And there's no other way to imagine the future. So thank you all. And with that, have a great night, a blessed evening. And we'll see each other soon. Blessings.
Blessings. Good night.
Good night.